From Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. Sports Bash is also brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. By Coach's Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. Check them out online at coachescollectiblesny.com. And by the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. Well, hi again, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you. I'm Peter Schwartz. Welcome to Sports Bash. 516-465-3990 is the number to call. Make sure you're subscribing to Gov's Comedy Club podcast channel on YouTube and follow Sports Bash Media on X, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also listen to Sports Bash on Apple Music and Spotify. Later on in the show, we're going to talk Knicks, Nets, and the NBA with Barbara Barker from Newsday. That's coming up later in the program. We'll also have What's Hot at TicketBash.com, the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, and we'll have the Coach's Collectibles item of the week. Now, I know what you're all saying. You're looking at me. The show starts at 3 o'clock, 2 hours later than normal, and I'm wearing a nice shirt. So you're thinking, well, Peter must have had to go somewhere today because he's dressed in a nice shirt. He's not wearing a jersey. He's not wearing a team sweatshirt. He's not wearing his fakakta hats that he has in the house, right? Well, you're laughing, Tony. Tony Walker, my producer, by the way, of course, the host of the Knock 'em Dead comedy show from 11 to 12:30 Monday through Friday. And we thank him for his flexibility today and us doing the show a little bit later. But yes, that's right. I am dressed in a nice shirt today, and we are doing the show a little bit later because me and our social media coordinator, Connor Kalb, well, we had a field trip today. We took a field trip this morning to Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, as we were credentialed for a Big East Media Day today. All of the schools in the Big East Basketball Conference, the men's and the women's, had their media day on the floor at Madison Square Garden. So we're taking a look at some photos that both me and Connor, I think mostly Connor, took today. And this was really interesting. And we're gonna talk to a couple of people that we from Big East Media Day in just a second. But Connor Kalb was a little bit of a deer caught in headlights today. Because, since he came on board here, well, first working with me for the football team that never happened, but then also working here at Sports Bash with us, Connor has had the opportunity to do a few things, a few events that we've gone to today. So when I said to him, how would you like to come with me to Big East Media Day at Madison Square Garden? He said, sure, it should be a lot of fun. And yeah, it was. So they actually had the Big East Media Day on the floor of Madison Square Garden. It was really cool. They dropped the scoreboard down to the floor. I said WNBA because she was the first commissioner of the WNBA, Val Ackerman. She is now the commissioner. I knew I was going to do that. I just knew I was going to do that. Val Ackerman is the commissioner of the Big East Conference. She had an opening address this morning, and we actually did a one-on-one. We're going to play that in just a couple of minutes. But we're standing down there on the court. We're watching this. We're watching the players and the coaches talk to the media, and we're standing just off the court. And Connor says to me, wouldn't it be great? I've never been on the court at Madison Square Garden before. I said, okay, go on the court. And he's like, you just walk on the court? I'm like, you see everybody else walking on the court. So I said, walk over to the court, walk over by the scoreboard, drop down at the bottom, and let's go take a picture. So here is a picture of Connor Kalb in front of the scoreboard, our great social media coordinator. And you know what? I was not going to let him be the only person that took the picture. So then he took a picture of me in front of the big scoreboard at Madison Square Garden. We had an absolute blast. And we did some interviews with St. John's people. We'll get to that in a second. But first up, and she has done a wonderful job as the commissioner of the Big East Conference and, taking it to new heights since the basketball conference was, reformed a number of years ago. And St. John's, the defending champions of the Big East on the men's side. So we had a nice conversation with the commissioner of the Big East Conference, Val Ackerman. Well, for you, how exciting is this, the start of another season, and you get to kick things off where everything ends the year before here at Madison Square Garden?
Well, this is the best day of the year, right? Because everybody's undefeated, everybody's happy. I think everybody's excited. It is a long summer, and we've got a lot of basketball heads in the room who just, could do it all the time if they had the energy to do that. They need the break in the summer to recharge batteries. But it is a great day, and it sort of reminds us that the season's right around the corner. We've got schools playing already with exhibition games. But this is where it starts and ends, of course, in March. So, it's exciting to be here for sure.
It's the number one media market, and you've got the defending champions who play here in this building, in this media market in St. John's. How great has it been for the conference to see the program come back to life under Rick Pitino?
Well, we want to see all of our schools do well. Let me start off with that.
Yeah.
I love all my children, because, as parents say.
Yeah, you can't really have a favor, right? I know with two kids, yeah.
But I'm in New York. I'm a longtime New Yorker. I've seen firsthand what happens when St. John's is really, really good in men's basketball. I see what that does to sort of energize the city, what it does with the local media, what it does to this building when it's sort of a sea of red in the house here. So I tip my hat, to Father Shanley, president of St. John's, Ed Cull, Coach Pitino, their staff. They've got a lot of people who've worked really hard to get this team back on track. And so I think it's a testament to all of them that they had the season they had last year, got them a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, didn't go as far as they wanted, but now they're back, re-energized, top 5 team heading into the year. That's pretty good optics to me. And so let's just hope they can keep it going. I think it'll be great for them, and certainly would be great for us.
You spoke during your address this morning about the conference in general. How is the Big East Conference? Where are we in terms of the conference as it continues to grow in its resurgence every year?
I'm proud of where the league is. I mean, we're kind of a tweener, as we like to call ourselves, because we don't sponsor football. We have a few schools that play it. UConn plays at the FBS level.
Yeah.
The others play at FCS level, the other 3 who play it. But we consider the big football guys pure conferences in basketball.
Right.
And we believe we know we've been, and believe we can stay toe-to-toe with them in basketball, and in part because of the many attributes we have around our tradition, our rivalries, television we have, playing in New York, playing in the Garden, playing in other big markets, having Hall of Fame quality coaches in the league, the ability to attract the kinds of players you need in order to be successful at this level. We feel like we've got it all. That said, college sports right now is in a volatile place. With all the change that's happened around the compensation model, the moving around by the players due to loosened transfer rules and so on. So it's really hard. Anybody tells you they have a crystal ball in this space, they're not telling the truth. No one really knows. But I think the Big East is positioned as well as we can be under the circumstances. And I just know full well the commitment of our schools as it relates to their athletic programs and basketball in particular. So that gives me a lot of optimism about where we can go.
For any conference, any sport, television exposure is so important, and you have agreements in place with some of the top broadcast networks in the country. How happy are you as commissioner to be able to have those relationships in place for the growth of the conference?
Well, it's critical, and we're thrilled, to have these, the biggest players in sports television are with the Big East. We've got Fox Sports remains our lead partner. They've been had an amazing relationship with them now. It's our 13th year. We've now got NBC Peacock, which is growing, which is adding basketball programming. They've got the NBA now, among many elite properties. We've got TNT Sports, which has a long connection to the sport of basketball with their March Madness coverage and the NBA. And then we've got ESPN back as a Big East partner, which is going to have ESPN Plus be our primary distribution outlet for a whole host of sports events there. So it's good for us now, but it's also good for us as we look ahead, because being in business with these networks will be a positive for the conference once we go into our next media rights negotiation, which is something you're not worried about and the fans aren't worried about, but people like me have to think about. So I think we're going to be in a good place there too.
You mentioned something else in your address this morning about your hope at some point where the men's and women's basketball Final Fours are played in the same venue in the same weekend, I guess. I guess the way women's sports has evolved now, where it's hard to get tickets for some of these women's basketball games. How close do you think we are to that reality that perhaps someday there could be the men's and women's Final Four taking place in the same spot?
Well, if it were me voting, we would do it next year, okay? But but this is a committee decision.
Yeah.
And people who are listening who know me are probably laughing hearing this because I've been on this horse for a long time. I'm really, frankly, one of the few commissioners that goes back and forth between the two Final Fours because they're in different cities on the same weekend. It's really hard. And it's not just a selfish thing, but I really do think if we could turn college basketball into what we've seen in tennis. Mm-hmm. Look, think about the U.S. Open,
right.
Okay, where you've got the men and the women together, Wimbledon, the French, the Australian. The men and women are together. They play on alternate days. It's 1 + 1 is 3. I think we have a unique ability to do that in college basketball in the way that no other sport can. I would love to see it at least tried, and maybe that can happen near term, where we could try it and see how that looks, because I think that would give the women a grander stage. I think it would be one of the greatest storylines possible. And I think for the NCAA, it would be a way to save some money, grow revenue, give everybody a chance to see these two great tournaments without having to move back and forth, as is the case now. And it could be really exciting for the sport of basketball writ large. So hopefully it'll happen someday.
And one last question. We're standing here on the court in Madison Square Garden, home of the Big East tournament. How cool is it for you to call this place home?
I love this place. I mean, I've spent a lot of time here between my NBA and WNBA days, and many days and nights here as part of the Big East. And I've been to a lot of buildings across the country in my career. I've been in this sport for a long time. I've been to arenas all around the country. There's some amazing venues. There's nothing like the Garden. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is with this place, but it's the combination of
even with the transformation.
Yeah, the lighting and the banners and the electricity, the acoustics, whatever it is they've done to this place, it's just really, really special. So the fact that it's the home of the Big East tournament and we have the relationship we have with this place is, it's just, it's really, frankly, it's been one of the highlights of my career to have a relationship with this place and the people who run it. So thrilled to be here.
Thank you so much for your time.
Great,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Val Ackerman, the commissioner of the Big East Conference. A wonderful conversation with her. She's done a wonderful job running the Big East. And, it is pretty cool to be inside Madison Square Garden. And, for me growing up, it's always been about the old Yankee Stadium, Nassau Coliseum, even Shea Stadium. I love the old places. And I grew up also going to games at the old, at Madison Square Garden before its multiple renovations. But there is still an aura about being at Madison Square Garden, whether it's for a basketball game, a hockey game, or a concert. It is the world's most famous arena for a reason. Well, one of the tenants at Madison Square Garden, the St. John's Red Storm basketball team, and of course as part of Big East Media Day at the Garden today, St. John's had 3 representatives speaking to the media. We'll hear from head coach Rick Pitino and another player in a little bit. Not just another player, the preseason Big East Player of the Year, Zuby Ejiofor, is coming up. A little clip with him from the media scrum in just a second. But first, I had a chance for a very brief one-on-one conversation with St. John's senior guard, Oziah Sellers. You have a minute for a couple more? Sure. Are you rolling? So what's your excitement level coming into this season after the way things finished up last year and expectations are even higher?
Yeah, I'm super excited, especially this being my last year in college. I'm ready to just go out the right way. I'm ready to play so hard and just, I'm ready.
Here in Madison Square Garden, hard not to feel the aura of the Big East season. How excited are you and to play most of your home games here in this building?
Yeah, it's crazy. The history in this building it speaks for itself. You see all the banners around, all the posters of people that performed, played here. So it's exciting to be a part of, and I'm ready for it.
What has playing for Coach Pitino meant for you? What is it like playing for an iconic coach like that who has come back here to New York and restored this school to prominence again?
It means everything. Obviously, even before me coming here, just growing up hearing about Coach Pitino, and obviously his resume speaks for itself as well. And I just learned so much from him each and every day, so I'm excited to continue to learn and just be coached by him.
You've already played one preseason game. How do you think things look? You've got some newcomers on the team as well through the transfer portal. What are your expectations like, and how excited are you for the real season to get underway soon?
Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously we got a lot of new guys, a lot of new faces, but I feel like we're gelling at the right time. We're coming together and starting to play as a team at the right time, and I'm ready to see how far we take it.
You're picked to win the Big East again. You're ranked number 5 in the national poll. Does that add extra pressure, or does pressure become a privilege in that situation?
It's no pressure. Pressure is a privilege for sure. We embraced it, but we're ready to just go show it.
How are you?
Isaiah Sellers, St. John's senior guard. We thank him for a couple of minutes. It was funny because he talked to a whole bunch of the media members that were there, and everybody kind of moved out of the way to wait for Rick Pitino to show up. And you heard me at the beginning. So you got a couple of minutes. I'm like, all right, Connor, hit record. Let's talk to Isaiah Sellers. And he was one of 2 St. John's players that were there at Media Day today. The other, he is the preseason pick, the preseason player of the year in the Big East. He helped St. John's to the Big East championship, both in the regular season and in the Big East tournament a year ago. And this is not a one-on-one. This is just a clip from the media scrum. This might be a question that I asked him about playing at Madison Square Garden. We'll see what Connor picked out here. But here is Zuby Ejiofor. What's your excitement level coming into this season after the way things finished up last year and expectations are even higher?
Yeah, I'm super excited, especially this being my life.
High expectations externally, seemingly. How about you, personally? Expectations for you and expectations for St. John's as a team this season?
My expectation for myself is, just be the best teammate that I could be the best leader that I could be vocal, lead by example, things of that nature. Not really thinking too much into accolades, especially not personally. I'm more into team accolades and just having the experience, having some of the new guys experience a winning standard. Just obviously coming off of a successful season last year and being able to win the regular season, win the tournament championship as well. So I want some of the guys to have that experience, especially winning here at MSG. There's not really too much of a feeling like that. So that's my biggest admirations for this year.
What is it like calling this place home and playing so many more games here this season?
It means a lot. It really does. It means a lot. Just playing in the world's most famous arena, and I'm just glad that we get a lot more games here as well. Especially when the crowd is just full of Johnny fans. They're so passionate about the game, and that's what we do for. We play for them. I play for them. I play for the fans. I play for my family. So it's really special, being able to call this place home, and especially going undefeated last year. We're looking to do that again.
Zuby Ejiofor, the Big East preseason player of the year, and helped St. John's win the regular season and the Big East tournament championship. And he is right. I mean, there is an aura of playing in Madison Square Garden, and you see this resurgence now. I mean, Madison Square Garden has always been referred to as the Mecca of basketball, and for so many years the Knicks sucked. St. John's was struggling, going through coach to coach, and now you have both the Knicks and St. John's packing Madison Square Garden because they are expected to do big things this season. And a big reason why Madison Square Garden is packed and why they are playing so many more games and why they have sold 9,500 season tickets already for this season is the man who helped restore the team to prominence, the school, the basketball program, when he arrived 3 years ago. And that is the iconic head basketball coach at St. John's, Rick Pitino. When you got here, it was important to you to add more games here at the Garden. You've been able to do that over 3 years. What does it mean to have most of your schedule here?
Well, remember, it takes 13,000 people around that number to break even for St. John's. And St. John's was averaging, they were playing 6-7 games a year, and they were averaging 5,000-6,000 people. So they were bleeding financially. Now we're getting 19,000 people, and they're making money. And I think we're playing 12 or 13 games this year, including an exhibition game. I'd love to see someday us play 15, 16 games in the Garden. The difficult task is obviously with the Knicks and Rangers is getting the dates.
Have you ever been part of a year like this where both St. John's and the Knicks have expectations to go deep, maybe win it all? Both teams haven't really been that good at the same time.
Maybe in the 70s there were, when we won the championships. I think it's great. It's exciting. I'm a big Nick fan, obviously, being an assistant and a head coach. I'll be at the opener tomorrow. I think it's great for both of us, and certainly we're really looking forward. We have one of the most difficult schedules, and we're going to find out Saturday as well as early in the season where our blemishes lie, and that's why I made that type of schedule.
Head coach Rick Pitino of St. John's, and you heard him talking about Madison Square Garden, and earlier on in the media scrum, he talked about who his starting five might be for the exhibition game this weekend at the Garden, and he's still not sure how that's going to shake out. He also did, and this is important, and he talked about this as we were walking away to go cover something else, but he was asked. There have been some newspaper reports. I think he talked about it at St. John's Media Day the other day about his future, and he can leave after this season. St. John's badly wants to, and rightfully so. They want to keep him around at least for a couple of more years, and they have to get him signed, and they have to come up with the money because he's on a very school-friendly contract right now. So St. John's needs to come up with some cash, and I know Ed Cole, the athletic director, and other St. John's people have said they will do whatever it takes to keep Rick Pitino. But how about this, though? I know you want to keep him around, but what if, and I like to play the game what if St. John's wins the national championship this year? Do you let him walk off into the sunset? You build a statue out in front of St. John's there in Queens? I mean, you'd like them to be around a couple of more years, but I'm just wondering how things would change if St. John, maybe not even win the national championship, maybe if he gets them to the Final Four. Is that enough for everyone to say he came here to do his job, he got the team back to prominence, and now he's going to ride off, and this is his last stop? And St. John's wants this to be his last stop. So we'll see what happens, but good luck to the Red Storm. Before we take a break, and we're going to switch to the Knicks and the NBA in just a minute, but I do want to thank Mike Lepre, Jackie Eddy, Kevin Ivani, and everyone at the Big East Conference for having me and Connor at Media Day today. We had an absolute blast. We had a nice lunch after Media Day was over. It's always good to get that nice meal there in the Expo Hall at Madison Square Garden, and we had just an absolute great time this morning covering Big East Media Day. Well, we're not done talking hoops here on the show because, as I said, we have this resurgence of basketball in the New York area. We've got St. John's coming off a Big East championship. We've got the Knicks coming off of going to the Eastern Conference Finals and starting their season tomorrow. And we're going to talk about the Knicks. And the NBA season actually starts tonight with a couple of games. Barbara Barker from Newsday is going to join me when we come back right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention SportsBash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. I'm Peter Schwartz. Once again, thanks to everybody at the Big East Conference for having Sports Bash at Media Day earlier today. Had a great time meeting up with some people I hadn't seen in a really long time and also bringing some interviews to you here on the show. So we've covered college basketball here on the show today. It's now time to get to the NBA. The NBA season starts tonight, and the Knicks will get underway tomorrow, as will the Nets. And we will now talk about the NBA, everything that's going on with the Knicks, the Nets, and the rest of the National Basketball Association. She covers the NBA for Newsday. We welcome in an old, and I don't want to say old because that makes it sound like she's old, because I don't know if she's older than me, but a longtime friend of mine. I used to see her all the time at Knicks games when I covered them, Jets as well. Welcome to the show, Barbara Barker. Barbara, it's Peter. How are you?
Hey, Peter, I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm doing great. By the way, before we talk about basketball, it was great to see you at Islanders training camp a couple of weeks ago.
It was really great. Come on, Peter, you promised not to go deep into the
No, what I promised was, I wasn't going to ask you any questions about hockey. All I wanted to say was it was nice to see you at training camp a couple of weeks ago.
It was really fun, and I enjoyed being out there. It was great. It was really great seeing you.
And thank you, and likewise. And I'll leave it at that. No more puck talk here. Let's get to basketball, and the regular season. Starts tonight with a couple of games: the Rockets and the Thunder. The Thunder being the defending NBA champions, and the Warriors and the Lakers later on. How excited are you for the start of the NBA season tonight?
Oh, I'm really excited. I mean, the Thunder is, they're my pick and just about everyone else's pick, to win it all again this year. So it's pretty exciting, and I'm really excited for, the start of the Knicks season tomorrow, especially since they're playing Cleveland. Those are the two teams that I expect, and a lot of people expect will be, playing in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I would think with the Celtics being without Jason Tatum and the Pacers being without Tyrese Halliburton, most people will say it's the Knicks and the Cavaliers, and that is a great way to start the season tomorrow. Before I get to the Knicks, let me just circle back to one of the games tonight. It's the Warriors and the Lakers, and obviously with LeBron being on LA, and there was all these different talks and rumors about what his future was, and he had that cryptic social media message. I think it was last week, and he's for his age, being over 40 now. I mean, he's still so productive as an NBA player, but you got to wonder at some point he's going to want to move on to something else in his life. So as we get ready to start the new season with LeBron and the Lakers playing tonight against the Warriors, do you think this could be the last hurrah for LeBron this year?
I mean, it could be. I mean, for all his age and everything, he did average more than 24 points last year, and like 8 assists. And I don't know how many rebounds, like 7, 8, something like that. I mean,
I thought you might have jumped in and said 6-7 there.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think I still think he's playing at a pretty high level. I guess it just depends on depends on what he wants. He has a lot of other businesses going. Hard to say. I mean, I think it's just going to be worth watching, and maybe it just depends what happens this year with the team. But I mean, if it's still fun, I think the guy's going to still play.
There's no question about it. He gravitates you to watch. I mean, even if you're not a diehard basketball person, when you see LeBron on TV, he kind of gravitates you because, like, he's so good still for his age that if there's going to be that LeBron moment, you want to be part of it, even if you're not a Laker fan or you're not even a big NBA fan. If you know the name, even my mother, who watches the show all the time, she doesn't know much about sports, but she knows who LeBron James is. So I would imagine that, a lot of basketball fans and even just a lot of sports fans are going to be tuned in because they don't know how many more times they're going to get a chance to see LeBron.
Right, and he is a legendary player. I mean, I would argue, I don't know. I hate to who's best over time. I was always more of a LeBron guy than George. I think LeBron has really done a lot off and on the court. I mean, he's really sort of a legend, and just to see a couple games of his career, a couple. Who knows? I mean, this very well could be his last, but very well couldn't.
Let's get to the locals, and we're talking NBA with Barbara Barker from Newsday, who joins us here on Sports Bash. We already mentioned the Knicks open up their regular season tomorrow against the Cavaliers at Madison Square Garden. And again, as we've talked about, these are the two teams that are expected to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, come the spring. And when you look at the Knicks, obviously there's going to be a little different look. Mike Brown is the new head coach. Tom Thibodeau was let go after they lost to the Pacers in last year's Eastern Conference Finals. When you look at the Knicks this year under Mike Brown and with some of the new pieces that they brought in, how do you look at the Knicks coming into the season that starts tomorrow night?
Well, first of all, with Boston and Indiana having lost their best players to Achilles injuries, I mean, this is the best chance any Knicks team has had, even a better chance to get to the finals. They got to the finals in 1999, but that was an upset. And, I think, that was a lockout year. This is an incredible chance for them to get there. I mean, everything, they just got to get by Cleveland. That's it. I mean, Orlando could be interesting. But, I mean, I think that this is their best chance. That being said, I don't know if they're going to charge out of the gate that strongly. I mean, I was over at the Knicks practice yesterday, and, Karl Anthony Towns, said a couple really surprising or, cryptic. He does not understand his place in the offense yet and what it's going to do for him, it seems. And, a new offense, it takes a while to get used to it, maybe. I'm not sure how quickly they're going to charge out. That will be the most interesting thing. And this is a tough game to unveil a bunch of new stuff because, obviously Cleveland swept them last year.
Yeah.
So it's a really tough first game. If they get clobbered, I don't know, if you can say, oh, this is terrible, it's over, because, it is what it is. But it's just going to be interesting. And right now they have some, injury questions. Josh Hart, who was a starter, he's not going to be a starter, but I mean, would be could have been a sixth man and was such an important person, for them last year. He is not practicing. It's not, he has back spasms. It's not really clear entirely what's going on there.
Are the Knicks genuinely concerned about it? Because he got banged up. I think it was in one of the games in Abu Dhabi that they were playing in the preseason. Are the Knicks genuinely concerned about this being a long-term thing for him?
I mean, they have not said that. I don't think they would say that because the Knicks don't give a lot of information out.
Right.
But he missed their last 4 preseason games. Right now, he's not practicing with the team. So, I think there has to be. Also, he's not practicing with the team, and the team is putting in a bunch of new stuff. I mean, he's kind of starting to look like an odd man out.
Yeah.
You got to see what happens there. Mitchell Robinson also didn't play the last 2 preseason games, but they're calling that load management, and that's very possible that that's what it is. I guess he didn't practice today. I was talking to somebody, but I wouldn't be surprised if he plays tomorrow. So I mean, I guess we're just not. It's a new coach. We're not used to it. Obviously, under Tibbs, Tom Thibodeau, there was no such thing as load management. So we're not really. We don't really know how they're supposed to work, right? So, I don't know how Mike operates from that. I do know he gives players rest. And you have to really be in peak conditioning to run the kind of offense he wants to run. So, Josh is, when he comes back, he's always been in pretty good condition. I mean, he played major minutes. He was like, the Iron Man. So, I think but the back is a weird thing, right?
Yeah.
So
Because you have to make sure that it heals, because you could immediately, like, you could say, I feel fine 1 minute, especially with basketball players, because you're going up for rebounds and you're fighting for loose balls, and the last thing you want to do is re-aggravate a back injury.
He's a very, very physical player too. I mean, he falls down. I mean, well, they all do, but yes, I think anybody with a back injury. So, that situation is sort of up in the air. But I just really think that with the way the East is, the opportunities there. That being said, there is a tremendous amount of pressure. I mean, you fired a coach. You fired a coach that got them to the conference finals and almost got them to the finals. I mean, and beat, who would have thought? You remember the near riots you saw on the street when they beat the Celtics?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Would you have ever thought, watching that Tom Thibodeau was going to get fired?
No, there's not. And I think that was going to be my next question, to talk about the coaching change, because I think there was, especially, not so much before the playoff, but I think it was certainly afterwards. I still think a lot of people really felt that Tibbs was going to come back, and I think the firing took a lot of people by surprise, because there were a good number of people, Barbara, that thought, if they didn't beat the Celtics, that there would be a good chance that he would not be back. But he beats the Celtics, but then he loses to the Pacers, and I still think there were a lot of people. I thought he'd be back. I don't know how you felt about it. Are you still to this moment shocked that he was fired?
Yeah, am I shocked? It is the Knicks, right? So, I was very shocked and surprised at the time. I did think, and he thought too, that he had to beat the Celtics to keep his job. He knew that. I mean, I think I think Tom, in fact, I know he told some people that I know that, during the season, that he felt he had to beat the Celtics to keep his job. All right. So I think he felt after he beat the Celtics that, I don't think he thought that he was going to lose his job. Right. So, it's hard to, I think a lot of people were really surprised. But what's even more surprising is I think they fired him without a plan. All right. So
they I think they interviewed you for the job too.
Well, I wasn't supposed to tell anyone. I was too busy watching. I was too busy watching off-season hockey or whatever it is you have to pay attention. But yeah, is there such a thing as off-season hockey? I just made it up. Okay, so yeah. I was. Yeah, I mean, they did it without a plan, and I think Mike ends up. Well, I think their plan was Jason Kidd, and that didn't work out. Right. That's what they wanted. So Mike is a veteran coach. He's a good guy, and this is going to be a big challenge. This is going to. I mean, I'm not just saying because it's Mike. This is a big challenge for anybody. It's a big challenge for anybody. So it's going to be really interesting. The expectations are super high, but he knows that.
We have a couple minutes left. I got to touch on the Nets, and obviously expectations not high at all at Barclays Center. When you look across town, I sense a little deflation there, that OG's at. But when you look at the Nets, I mean, if you're what do you tell a Nets fan about hope for the future at this point with what they've done in the last couple of years?
Well, they have a pick coming up, a first-round pick, all right? And it's going to be them fighting the Wizards and the Jazz and the tanking battle. I mean, it's that bad, I mean, maybe I actually think Jordy's a pretty good coach. Their coach is a pretty good coach. So that's sort of interesting, and you got to maybe cheer for a guy put in this position, or I don't know, maybe it's the next Kenny Atkinson. Who knows, right? So, I mean, somebody stuck in a terrible rebuilding position. I mean, the young. I think not only the amount of turnovers that that team had, I think last year, it's just going to be a big messy thing to watch. But, there's people, it's going to be cheap to go to. You'll be able to bring your kids, and you'll be able to maybe get on the ground floor or something. I mean, that's about the only way I could advertise that.
There you go. You could be in the public relations and marketing department for the Nets. That was a fantastic answer.
Well, it is. You can't afford to go. I mean, Knicks games are so expensive. I mean, even, I used to take my kids to Philadelphia to see them.
Well, it's probably cheaper it's probably cheaper to hop in the car, drive to Philly, and go see them against the Sixers there.
Okay, Peter, I'm not going to make this up. You could go to Philly. You could take a family of 4. You could get a hotel. You could eat a nice meal, and you could get really good tickets, and it's about the same price.
Yeah,
so there you go.
I'm not surprised. I've been asked how many Knick games do you go to with your family, and I said, well, we went to one last year. Anything beyond that, and I would have to take out another mortgage on my house.
No, you really do. You really do. I have some little secrets about, my son is such a Knicks fan that he's constantly, trolling, StubHub and all these sites, trying to get in. But
well, they think mom can get the tickets from the Knicks for nothing. Just ask the Knicks.
No. I think the Knicks might increase the price for me. I'm not sure. No, I'm just kidding.
Barbara, thank you so much for spending some time talking a little basketball with us, and hopefully we can do it again as the season progresses.
All right, it's great. Maybe I'll hop out to the island again, because I actually had a really good time. I mean, at practice, you get to watch an Islanders practice, unlike the Knicks practice. So it was kind of cool.
I am going to the Islanders game tonight.
Well, I won't be there, but anyway,
you'll be watching basketball, and you'll get to hear Round Ball Rock because the NBA is back on NBC this year.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. All right.
Barbara, thank you so much.
Okay, take care, Peter.
Take
all
care.
Right?
Barbara, you too. Bye-bye. Barbara Barker from Newsday talking NBA. We still have lots more to do here on the show. Coming up, we're going to have what's hot at ticketbash.com, and based on what Barbara said, not Nets tickets. But we will mention something about them, I think. The Sports Bash Media poll question of the day and the Coach's Collectibles item of the week. We're also going to tell you about some upcoming shows, and boy, do we have a great guest list coming up in the next week and a half or so, and we'll tell you about that when we come back right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer. You are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Hi, I'm...
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability. earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Heating and Air Conditioning Service. Let me try that again because I think I slurred a word there. Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Heating and Air Conditioning Service. I'm Peter Schwartz. Once again, our thanks to Barbara Barker from Newsday, who just joined us in the last segment to talk about the NBA. Before I get to what's hot at TicketBash.com, and I'm going to go off the script for just a second, but Tony, don't worry. You're not missing any photos. You get a little fidgety when I go off on a different direction. I can't go, and we talked a lot of basketball here on the show. I can't go the whole hour without bringing up football, and I have to give equal time. I'll start with the Giants to make sure I get them in. And I feel for Giant fans. I really do. I don't usually feel for teams that I don't root for, but I have so many, family and friends who are Giant fans, and when you see them blow leads of 19-0 and 26-8 in the fourth quarter on Sunday against the Broncos, you feel for them because that's something that the Jets might have done. Although the Jets would have to score points in order for that to happen, they can't really score any points. But that's about as deflating of a loss as you can possibly have for the Giants, and it's simplistic to say, because that's kind of like the silver lining, but a lot of people Giant fans are coming out of that game saying, well, we definitely have the quarterback. And you do. And Jackson Dart's going to be a terrific quarterback. You can see it. But you also have to live with the growing pains. And the very, very bad interception that played a huge role in that comeback by the Broncos in that game. But Jackson Dart's going to be terrific. I think they put him in at the right time, waiting a couple of weeks, letting him watch a little bit. A lot of Giant fans are still a little pissed that he didn't start from the beginning of the season. I think the Giants handled that very well. But again, that still leaves the fact that the defense gave up 33 points in the fourth quarter. It still means that you have a backup kicker that missed 2 extra points in the game. So the Giants do have a lot of problems, but one of those problems is not Jackson Dart. Here is a guy that is going to win a lot of games for the Giants in the upcoming years, and maybe even some playoff games as well. But I think the Giants hit it big with Jackson Dart. When it comes to the Jets, I don't want to lose my voice over them. I can't spend too much of my breath like crying and bitching and moaning about the Jets. I just can't. But they're 0-7. And when you look at them, they are an 0-7 team. They can't score any points. They can't move the ball. They made a quarterback change at halftime. They put Tyrod Taylor in, and we think Tyrod Taylor is going to get the start against the Bengals this Sunday when the Jets drop to 0-8. I mean, that's basically what's going to happen. Tony, you're laughing, but it's true. Yeah. The Jets are not going into Cincinnati and winning that game. And I'm gonna take a show off of bashing Aaron Glenn. I'm gonna take a show off from bashing the players, because Woody Johnson, the Jets owner, talked to the media today at NFL meetings, and he's just a freaking dweeb. You watch him talk, and I've been watching him talk like somebody from the Jets has to tell Woody Johnson to shut up. He's talking about, the fans are the most important things to us. So if the fans were so important, you would hire a general manager and let the general manager hire the coach, and let him hire an experienced coach, because all Woody Johnson does is hire inexperienced coaches that if one of them hits, he can say, "Oh, I'm a genius. I hired this guy and look how good he was." You're a horrible owner. You are. You're a horrible owner. And every time he opens up his mouth, I feel like I wonder back to when he bought the team from the Leon Hess estate. Like, how was this guy competent enough to actually fulfill a purchase of an NFL team? Like, every time he opens up his mouth, you wonder how dumb could this guy be? A bash Justin Fields today when you have a quarterback with a rating like that. Yeah, sure, let the owner bash your first-year player that you just gave $30 million to, and you bash him with a quarterback rating. It would be nice if we can complete a pass. Does that sound like an owner? I mean, he's been here for 5 minutes. He's the least of your problems. You're the problem. You, Woody, look in the mirror. You are the problem. I'm not going to repeat myself about exterminating the whole thing. I went on that rant a couple of weeks ago. But, Woody, you are the problem. End of story, period. 0-8 coming up this week for the New York Jets. Let's get to what's hot at ticketbash.com. We'll start with the sports calendar. The Islanders host the Sharks tonight at UBS Arena. Tomorrow night, the Knicks open up their season at home against the Cavaliers at the Garden. Knicks will also be home Friday against the Celtics. The Rangers host the Sharks Thursday night at the Garden. And the Nets play their home opener Friday against the Cavaliers at Barclays Center. Upcoming shows and concerts, Larry David is going to be at the Beacon Theater tonight. You know what's interesting about Larry David, and people are shocked when I say this, and I think, Tony, you'll be shocked too. Not that I'm a huge Seinfeld fan. That is not a shock. I love Seinfeld, my favorite show of all time. But I couldn't stand Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Really?
I can't. I tried watching it the first time around, and I watched it, and I wasn't into it. I gave it another shot. I'm like, just this sucks. I don't like it. And people are stunned, and they know that I love Seinfeld, and they say, how could you not be a fan of Curb Your Enthusiasm if you like Seinfeld? It just did not resonate with me. Do you know anybody else like that, Tony, who loved Seinfeld but did not like Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No.
I'm the only one.
You're the only one.
I like that. I'm great. That's it. Fantastic. I'm on an island by myself, which is great because I like being a little unusual once in a while. But Larry David, if you care for him, and I thank him for creating Seinfeld with Jerry Seinfeld. And speaking of which, by the way, Larry David again tonight at the Beacon Theater. Jerry Seinfeld will be at the Beacon Theater on Friday, October 24th, this coming Friday. Sabrina Carpenter, who hosted and was the musical guest for Saturday Night Live this past Saturday, she'll be at Madison Square Garden October 26th, 28th, and 29th. Billie Eilish is at UBS Arena on Saturday, October 25th. And Sunday, October 26th, John Legend will be at Barclays Center on November 4th. I have to tell a quick story about John Legend because I know my wife is watching. So years ago when I worked for the Dragons in the Arena Football League, the one that actually played, we were at the Arena Bowl in Las Vegas one of those years. The Dragons weren't in it, but we were there, just for the weekend. And they had a concert at the MGM Grand Arena the night before Arena Bowl. And the concert was Maroon 5. Nobody knew who Maroon 5 was, and we were all at the time like, my wife and I, like, Maroon 5, that's the best that the Arena Football League could get. And sure enough, of course, what they went on to do. But you know what the opening act for Maroon 5 that night was? John Legend.
Oh wow.
And now, like, could you imagine, like, those? So you had the Maroon 5 is headlining the Arena Bowl concert. And before that, John Legend's the opening act. He's not an opening act for anybody anymore. Right. But that was interesting that we saw those two acts there in Las Vegas a number of years ago. Get the best seats at the best prices with no service fees at ticketbash.com. It's time for the Coach's Collectibles item of the week, and we stay on the subject of the Knicks and basketball. And with the Knicks season starting, we have a Jalen Brunson unsigned 20 by 24 framed collage. It's beautiful. I mean, it's great pictures on there. And there's a nice, 11 for Brunson on top. That's a really nice piece. I like that. I'm going to have to talk to Dom at coachescollectiblesny.com. Well, I'm not going to talk to him on the website, but that is the website. For more information, visit coachescollectiblesny.com. Coaches Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. Okie dokie, it's time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a new poll question every Tuesday and Thursday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. How far will the Knicks go this season? You have 4 choices. Make the playoffs, reach the conference finals, reach the NBA finals, or win the NBA championship. And I believe this is the year that the Knicks reach the NBA finals, and they will lose to Oklahoma City in the NBA finals. Tony, I know you're not much on the Knicks side, but any thought on that?
I do agree that I don't know about the Oklahoma part, but I do think they'll reach the finals.
I think they'll reach the finals. So we'll see. It was a lot of excitement around Madison Square Garden basketball-wise. And you're sad to see the Rangers lost again last night. So not everything is great at Madison Square Garden. The fourth, you be professional, Peter. You just keep on doing that. The 4th annual Marty Lyons Foundation Evening of Thanks Gala is on Thursday, November 13th at the Bourne Mansion in Oakdale. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. Wow, that is less than a month away. The calendar, the days come off the calendar so quickly. I sound like Mike Francesa now. I can't believe it's already week 7 of the NFL. Coming up this Thursday on Sports Bash, we've been trying to put this together for a while as well. I've known this guy for a long time. Our next FOP, friend of Peter, I'll be joined in studio for the whole show this Thursday by celebrity and sports athlete booking consultant Larry Davis. And I got to know Larry years ago when he worked for Steiner Sports, and now he is strictly in the business of, if you're looking for a celebrity, whether it's on the sports side or the entertainment side, he is the guy to contact about getting that celebrity to your event. And we'll talk to Larry. We'll have a nice sports conversation with him. And how about this? He just texted me before the show because he's got so many clients. And with the Knicks season starting, and he's one of the most popular Knicks ever, even though he was a backup for the Knicks, Herb Williams is going to call into the show on Thursday when Larry Davis joins me here on the program. So we're looking forward to that. Next week, Tuesday, October 28th, I'll be joined by Nesson, New England Sports Network host and reporter Casey Hudson. We'll talk a lot about hockey with her as well, because that night the Islanders are playing the Bruins. So we'll kind of go behind enemy lines a little bit next Tuesday, but we'll also talk to Casey about everything that's going on in Boston sports next Tuesday. Next Thursday, I don't know if the World Series will still be going on, but next Thursday, October 30th, we'll talk baseball with Kelly Franco, the host of the 3-Inning Fan podcast. If the World Series is over, we'll do a recap, and we'll also look ahead to the Yankees and Mets offseason. Let me quickly just say something. I'm going to save my World Series prediction for Thursday on the show with Larry because the World Series starts on Friday. But I just want to bring up one thing about the World Series, how happy I am for Don Mattingly, a coach on the Toronto Blue Jays. And if you're a Yankee fan like myself, grew up and watched Don Mattingly play, especially in his prime, before he really got hurt. The fact that Don Mattingly is finally in a World Series, I wish it was in a Yankee uniform, but I'm glad it's not in a Red Sox uniform. But I am so happy for Don Mattingly. He was a great Yankee, an all-time Yankee. I wish he was manager of the Yankees. Maybe that'll happen at some point in the future. But, I mean, listen, I had a Don Mattingly poster on my wall. He was my favorite player during that era of Yankee baseball. I love that he came back to the team as a hitting coach. It didn't work out getting to the World Series, but so happy for Donnie Baseball that he's going to be in the World Series. And not necessarily saying I'm rooting for you, Don. I don't care. The Blue Jays and the Dodgers, but I'm just glad that Don Mattingly. And by the way, and I was at Yankee Stadium during that 95 playoff series against the Mariners when Mattingly hit that home run. And I'm telling you, and I was at World Series games and ALCS games at Yankee Stadium. When Don Mattingly hit that home run against the Mariners, you literally felt Yankee Stadium shaking, because there was the moment that Don Mattingly was waiting for through his whole career, was to get to the playoffs, because 94 it got taken away because of the strike, but there it was in 95, and it was just so cool to be there in the ballpark when Mattingly hit that home run. That was, and again, really happy for Mattingly that he's in the World Series. Is that it? Oh, I know I forgot one more thing. I don't usually do this, but I have to promote another show.
Oh, that's right.
Tonight at 9 o'clock here on Gov's Comedy Club Podcasts, our good friends Hershey and the Keeg will be doing their show, and they have a great guest tonight. They're going to be joined by former NBA player Kenny Anderson, and that is a great get for them, and that's going to be a great chat with Kenny about his time with the NBA and growing up in New York, playing basketball. And if I wasn't going to the Islander game, I would tune in. I'll have to catch it on the replay on demand. But if you're a big basketball fan, I would tune in tonight, 9 o'clock, Hershey and the Keeg, joined by Kenny Anderson tonight here on the program. That'll do it for today's edition of Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service. Thanks to my guests, Val Ackerman, Oziah Sellers, and Barbara Barker. Thanks to Tony Walker and everyone here at Governors. Thanks to our social media coordinator, Connor Kalb, who had the time of his life today at Big East Media Day at Madison Square Garden. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, Coach's Collectibles, and by the Marty Lyons Foundation. Thank you to everyone for watching. Sports Bash is back on Thursday, 1 o'clock, when I'll be joined for the whole hour with Larry Davis. Have a great day, everyone.